I'm so motherfucking blown right now. Like, I get home today from work. I get home today and I got a 3-day notice on my front door. Like, a notice to vacate. Like, what? No, an eviction notice, whatever it's called. Which I ain't never had that before. So I called the rent office. They didn't my answer. So I told my kids, I said, y'all hurry up and put y'all baseball stuff on. I'll be back. So I go to the rent office and I'm like, I walk in the door and they're like, somebody be right with you. I said, I got somewhere to go. I said, how y'all put a 3-day notice on my door and y'all told me I had a credit on my account for me not to pay my rent? Like, I pay my rent. I've been paying my rent for 2 years at a regular. Why would I stop paying rent right now? The same talk to, she's the same one that said you don't have to pay no rent, you have a credit, you don't have nothing to worry about. She acting like she ain't never had no conversation with me. She don't know who the I am. She don't remember talking to me. At the fence, I do talk to a lot of people. Talking to a lot of people about this. Ain't no way. And then on Thursday, on spring break on Thursday, you just brought a house to show her my apartment so somebody else can move in there. So if you run there, y'all got my apartment listed as vacant. Of course,
See, the hardest thing about these things sometimes is the fact that we only have their story to go off of, right? We don't have everybody who's involved present in order to corroborate the stories and put all the pieces together. Because let her tell it. They told her they were going to give her a credit to where she didn't have to pay no rent for a month or whatever. Right? That's what she says. And they said, no, girl, don't pay the rent. Do not pay it. Where they do that at? We believe that. Do we believe that? Do we believe that that's the truth? And see, what the funny thing is, what I was waiting to hear within this story is the $1 million 3-word question. Why? Let me get this straight. They told you they were giving you a credit to where you didn't have to pay your rent for a month. And you didn't ask them, what's this for? Well, why do I get this credit? What's this in regards to? I'm grateful for it, but why am I getting this? Because she didn't tell us why she was even getting the credit. There's just this magical credit that came out of thin air that she was getting. And the question that you should have asked is why? Because that doesn't happen in real life. They don't, no, let me tell you something. Guess what? These nails she got right here, I guarantee you she didn't pay for it with a credit, right? There's nothing in this world, in the US, that's getting paid for with credits. So, credits. We got credits now. People don't want their money, they want credit. They're giving credits. Ma'am, we don't believe this. Just, you didn't pay your rent. And you came up with some story about credits. And now you're surprised that you're getting evicted. It's got to be that simple, because unless you're going to give other information, unless you're going to show an email, something on paper where you can corroborate this, this is just made up. It's got to be. Guys, if you could do me a quick favor before we hop into the next clip, I'm asking on the front end if you could just like the video. It helps more than you know, and it only takes a second. But it helps tremendously. So if you could like the video real quick, I know it's easy to forget. So that's why I wanted to remind you. I forget all the time, but it helps a lot. So if you could do that, I would greatly appreciate it. That's all I'm asking.
I'm going to lose my apartment if I don't get $619 by Friday. $619.30. I feel like we should all be able to just help each other. Like, what? Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. Like, no one should be struggling to live, to eat, to have community. Like, no one should be struggling. There's too many of us. There's way too many of us. It's not fair. Like, people are trying to live and be happy, but they can't because rent's due on the 1st of each month. So it's like scrambling. And unless you're rich.
See, this is that American entitlement, right? We're in our own little bubble, and when something happens to us, now all of a sudden everybody shouldn't be struggling. So have you ever traveled out of the country? I guarantee you she's been to places like Mexico, Tulum. She's been to countries where people are struggling. And she enjoyed it. And she loved the fact that that American dollar was going a long way. And she knew that they were poor. It didn't matter then. But now all of a sudden, when something happens to you, no one should struggle. We should all collectively be pouring into something that doesn't allow anyone to struggle. It doesn't work like that. You understand economics when you go out of the country, but now all of a sudden, when it's at your front door, there's unlimited resources, and you don't understand how economics works.
And then you're not scrambling, but like scrambling does not equate to peace. Like people are trying, dude. People are trying, dude. Like I feel like the world just does not give you a break. Doesn't give you a break. Guys, I'm gonna get kicked out of my apartment if I don't make it. But I'm going, like, I've literally been trying to like believe I'm gonna make it, and I called around because they have numbers on here, and I called, but they're all at capacity. And I called early too. I called at like 9 a.m. That's what time most of them open, but they were all at capacity already. But like I've made it this far. Like I can't fail. I don't want to fail. So yeah, I've been door dashing, trying to make some extra money on the side, but $619 by Friday. I'm a nanny, so that's how I make my money. But I'm an on-call nanny for one company, and then I nanny some kids that I met. Well, I didn't meet them on care.com, but I got connected with those families on care.com, and so that's more of like under the table jobs, not like with a company per se, but yeah, so like I am working, like I'm fucking out here, but some like I keep getting set back because my Best Buy credit card that I'm paying off, I moved here with less than $1,000 to my name. I bought my apartment. I moved in. I didn't have anything, nothing, no bed. My dad gave me a futon, but even that wasn't. I couldn't assemble it, so I was sleeping like on the floor. And now like I have like it's furnished. It's like I mean I have like chair. Like I literally got like these chairs from like the side of the road. That somebody was getting rid of them, and then I have like my Japanese floor bed that I got from Facebook Market.
Basically, what we've just uncovered is the fact that she doesn't have a job, and she's surprised she's getting evicted. Ma'am, all those jobs that she just listed off, she even said it's under the table stuff. Because it is. DoorDash, nanny. Notice those jobs are things that you don't have to answer to nobody. You can make your own schedule. You can pick and choose whether or not you want to work or when you want to work. You can wake up late, right? So they lack structure, and they are ultimately going to lack stability. So what that means is that you need to get a job if you need stable income. It's that simple. It's that simple. Now, let's talk about how all of a sudden it's urgent. She has to get this $600 by Friday. What do we know to look at when we see people trying to put urgency? That is probably a scam. Because let's really get down to the root of this and get to common sense, right? And bring the truth and the facts to the surface. You knew you weren't going to have your rent, right? You knew you were late on your stuff, right? 30 days in advance, 60 days in advance. When you wasn't paying, you knew. So why all of a sudden when the eviction notice comes, that's all of a sudden when we have to try to get the money because they're going to kick you out in a few days. When you didn't pay it 30 days ago, 60 days ago, whatever the case, why didn't you start trying to raise money then? Wouldn't that be the respectful thing to do to your supporters? To actually give them more advance notice instead of telling them they need to come out of their pockets in 24 hours? Wouldn't that actually be the more sensible thing to do if you really needed to come up with this money? As well as it also gives your supporters a chance to actually plan around this. But she didn't do that, even knowing that she didn't pay her rent. Why? Because if you come 30 days or 60 days saying, hey, I have the possibility of them putting an eviction notice on my door in 60, 30 days, what's people going to do? They're going to say that's plenty of time. And then they're going to hold you accountable. And they're going to want to know, what are you doing extra to be able to do this? And then that's going to require some transparency. But when it's urgent, now all of a sudden that's all that matters, and we don't have to talk about any of the details. You just need this. Either you're going to help or you're not. And this is how they like to try to put people in the gridlock when really it was due to their poor planning. So ultimately what I'm saying is, no, it sounds like you need to go ahead and go through what you need to go through so you can not only just get the consequences, because that's not the most important thing about this, because she says she don't want to fail. She doesn't want to fail. She moved from somewhere. Well, then you don't want to live, because failure is a part of life. And failure is one of the most valuable things that can happen to you if you're keen enough to extract the lesson from it. But when we come and we just save them, guaranteed, you just set your clock and we'll be right here again very soon. So that's all I'll say about that.
So you came here looking for part 3 of the series where I'm evicting my dad, huh? You got it. Roll the clip. Oh, that stunned look on my face? Yeah, that's me unable to get into the house on Tuesday morning, not even 24 hours post-eviction. For whatever reason, the locksmith only changed the deadbolts, so I only had keys to those. And with everything going on, I just couldn't find the time to change out the rest of the locks. I'm going as fast as I can and trying to be as efficient as possible, but I was so stunned going up to the house and realizing I couldn't get in. That's when I knew. You guys were a little bit ahead of the game on me on this one. I think he's in. And this is him making a quick exit as I call the cops. Later that afternoon, my brother came over after work and helped me install some cameras. And this is me taking off those doorknobs, so at least he doesn't have access to those anymore, and I have to hurry my butt up and get some new ones so I can replace them. So that was the gist of my Tuesday. Is right away in the morning, I went to the house and had to file a police report because he had broken in. You called it, guys. You called it. Because he ran, the officers spent some time looking for him, but ultimately couldn't find him anywhere. So unfortunately, he got away. I pretty much then spent the afternoon setting up the cameras with my brother, getting those doorknobs off, and fussing around with the electrical box because allegedly, I'm assuming he stole the components that I needed, so I didn't have power in the house. But then I had to go back to being an adult in the real world.
I mean, that's interesting. I'll just leave it here because I don't know if me personally, if I would want to listen, you got to do what you got to do, whether it's family or not. If they're just really, if it's really that bad, which it seems like it is. But I don't know if I would want to come online and air my family dirty laundry online. I think that's interesting. That's her choice. That's her decision. But I don't know if that would be my thing to do. But we'll leave it there for today, y'all. If you could like the video, I'd greatly appreciate it. Again, it helps more than you know. And then also YouTube has a new feature called Hype. So if you could hype the video, that would also go a long way. The Hype feature basically helps smaller content creators, and it pushes us to the same extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So if you could hype, that would also help. But the like is super important. I know sometimes the hype is hard to find or whatever. So like works just fine. And then also Patreon's link below if you want to see self-improvement content. But until then, I'll catch you in the next video.